Hey, Karen.
Hi, Elissa.
Thanks for your time today. I'm really excited that we get this opportunity to have a little commentary for the Academy of Neuro PT and the Health Promotion and Wellness Committee so that we can talk about the audio clip that you posted with your client with aphasia. It was really interesting for me to hear and to learn through your experience. So
So
a couple,
thanks. Happy
yeah,
to be
I have a
here.
couple questions for you. So I guess tell me a little bit about how do you think that conversation went with that client?
I think it went well for me. This was the first time that I had been trained in using motivational interviewing techniques in conversation with a client, and I had known this person for quite a long time, and yet what we talked about in this interview session, I had never heard from her, and I'd known her for many years. So I thought allowing someone open-ended questions in the way that it was like trying to get at, well, tell me what, I think the question was, tell me what engaging in physical activity used to look like for you when you were physically active. And that was just like, she just shared a lot. And you could see like, she just got calm. She was calm and she was just excited to share what she was able to do at one time in her life. So I think just the open-ended questions are really fairly important at getting at, what that person wants to share with you, and a good place to start.
Excellent. I agree, Karen. And so you're kind of speaking to those core skills of motivational interviewing, or MI, like we sometimes like to talk about it. So the OR stands for O, open-ended questions, A, affirmations, R for reflective listening, and then S for summarizing. And I agree. Great open-ended questions. I also heard quite a few affirmations. I could almost like see you leaning in, to her with the conversation and saying, wow, and really trying to affirm kind of who she was and the story that she was sharing with you. Good reflective listening, going deeper, and then that summarization piece.
Thanks.
Yeah. So what would you do different now that you've listened to it and thought about it?
Yeah, I know nobody likes listening to themselves, right?
Of course.
There was one part where I had asked her what she used to do, and she told me this incredible exercise history that she had that I was not aware of, and I knew her pretty well. And I just said, really, like, surprised, and I feel really bad about that reaction. So I think I've got to be a little bit more careful about, I guess, about putting my emotion necessarily, in the forefront of there. I tried to then follow up with other questions. I'm like, so tell me what that looked like and get more detail. And so she could continue to share. But I guess I didn't like my reaction to one of those questions for her when I listened back.
I think you did okay, but I appreciate that you're trying to be critical, right? Like, how might someone else perceive my just kind of gut reaction, and how can I think about that and be present and mindful when I'm talking to individuals? So great.
And not judgy, right? How to not be judgy. It's,
creating that safe place for them to share. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think are we only got a clip of your conversation. So what were kind of next steps or the next layer to that conversation?
Yeah. So I went on and asked her, she described this incredible history, and I said, well, can you tell me why you aren't able to do that now? And then she went on to tell me her story and her barriers and things, but she also got very emotional in this conversation. And I have since learned a better way to maybe ask about that, is to have them describe what are some challenges that she has now that don't allow her to do that right at this time. And so I think I would definitely try to change how I asked that question, instead of, so why aren't you doing it now? How come? Which seems very judgy also. So at letting them describe. So the next steps would be like, well, can you describe for me what are your challenges that make it more difficult for you to be as active as you like to be? That would, that was what I would think.
Yeah, no, I love that. And it kind of gets into that change talk, right? Which is another important part often of MI, of helping individuals to generate those I statements. I have done this in the past and it was successful to me. And this is how I overcame this barrier. So getting her the place and kind of nudging her along that conversation so that she can have those really important what do I want to say? Just those really important statements, right? They're coming from her. She's being told what to do. She's generating the ideas in the next step, which is really important. We know, at least I know for me, I'm much more likely to follow through if I think it's a good idea and I'm coming up with it, versus kind of being told what to do by somebody else.
Certainly true of me as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well then, any final suggestions to someone maybe who's new to kind of motivational interviewing and wanting to better help the clients that they serve be more active, achieve their goals?
You know, it, I've been a PT for 35 years, so I was ingrained in a different way of interviewing. And so it was a really hard turnover for me. So I would suggest there's a fabulous website, and it's linked to the HBW page. It's called the MINT website, Motivational Interviewing Network of Trainers, I think is what it stands for. And it has incredible resources in there. There are practice pages, there's like helpful hints. So I would say you kind of have to immerse yourself in it and see. We can't spend every minute of every session like following a textbook interview, but we can definitely use pieces and be more efficient in what we're doing and still be valuable to the clients that we serve. So I would just say take advantage of those resources.
Excellent. Okay, great. Thanks so
Okay,
much, Karen.
sure, thanks.
Okay. So